The Borders and Los Cedros Apartments are proud sponsors of UTB Radio. The Borders is located at 375 Media Luna Road and Los Cedros at 1025 Waldrose Lane in Brownsville, Texas. For more information, call The Borders at 956-546-1605 or Los Cedros at 956-542-1941.
UTB Radio is sponsored in part by Valley Baptist Healthy Women's Center, located at 3525 International Boulevard, Brownsville, Texas. For more information, call 956-504-4038 or visit valleybaptist.net.
Hello, I'm Brandy Beltran with UTB Radio, and I'm here today with Dr. Nicole Azel, who is an assistant professor of music and co-director of the Bravo Opera Company at UT Brownsville. Dr. Azel is going to talk to us today about the Bravo Opera performance titled The Mikado, which will take place this Saturday at 7:30 p.m. and Sunday at 3 p.m. Dr. Azel, please tell us about the Mikado and its composer.
Sure. So the Mikado is written by Gilbert and Sullivan, and they are very, very famous operetta composers. They're British, and so they have a large body of work. Another really popular piece is Pirates of Penzance, which some people might have heard of. And they're very good at sort of high comedy. So it's a very silly operetta. It takes place in Japan, but it's not very culturally accurate. So it's just kind of goofy. We have names like Yum Yum and Nanky Poo and Pish Tush. And so it's about a lot of characters in Japan and sort of bizarre things going on. There's someone who needs to find someone else to behead, and people who end up like love triangles and switching partners and all of that. So it's a lot of fun, and there's most of it will be sung, but some of it will be spoken. So it's a nice mix of dialogue and sung drama.
Wow, that's awesome. And for someone who has never been to the opera, what would you tell them about giving it a try and what they can expect to see and hear?
Sure, that's a great question. I think a lot of people imagine opera as cartoons, like very large ladies with horns on their head and screaming and glasses breaking, and certainly that is an interesting and unique part of opera, loud scream-like singing. But what is most exciting about opera is that it's just it's another form of drama. So it's like TV, like movies, but you get to see it in live action form. So especially, this is a great first opera for people who may be intimidated by it, who may have seen it in movies and think that, wow, I don't know how I could identify with that. They can come. There's been a lot of people that reference the Mikado in pop culture. So How I Met Your Mother has a reference. Eric Idle from Monty Python did a production. Dudley Moore, Groucho Marx did a production. So it's a nice sort of crossover between pop culture and then classical music, which is it's very legit singing. It's classical based, but I think it's a really good first experience with opera. It's a lot of silliness, a lot of jokes. Opera can be really exciting. One of my favorite opera singers said that opera is just like controlled screaming. And I love that because there's something so visceral and exciting when you hear somebody singing what is essentially a controlled scream. It just, if you hear it and it's really exciting and it's done well, it can just sort of hit you. And so we have to have some of that as well as the laughter.
Wow, that's awesome. And does the cast consist of students only, or does it include staff and faculty?
It is just students. So the singers and the actors on stage are 100% students. This semester, they're all music majors. In the past, we've had some non-majors that have been in our cast. So this is all going to be students, and it's freshmen up to seniors. And we do have 2 staff pianists that are acting as our orchestra. So they will be playing the piano. But everyone singing are students, and they're music majors. So we would love to have non-music majors join the opera company as well.
Wow. And how long does it take to prepare for the performance?
We've prepared all semester. So we announced what we were doing at the end of the fall semester. They had auditions in December, and they learned their music and learned a lot of their lines over the Christmas break, and then we hit the ground running in January. And we only rehearse 4 hours a week, and so to put a production of this caliber on is a lot of work. We don't have staff that do costumes. In a lot of universities, you have like a costume crew, a lighting crew, a set designing crew that are part of the faculty, and that's not us. So our students actually do a lot of it. So our students are hemming kimonos right now and creating hair pieces, and then we're going into the hall today. We have to create a lighting design in 2 hours, and so it's very exciting, very fast-paced, but they've put a lot of work into it. In fact, most of them have to rehearse outside of our practice time.
Wow, it's a lot of effort going into it.
It is.
And who works on the set and the costumes? Is it strictly students, or is it as well as staff?
Well, myself and my co-director, Dr. Daniel Hunter-Hawley, we choose the concept and choose that, and like we get as much volunteer help as possible. So my mother is also hemming kimonos, and my husband is building some of our set, but they're sort of overseeing with the help of students. So we have actually our 2 female leads are also usually our student costume crew, and so they'll be in charge of gathering costumes, cleaning costumes. So my co-director, Dr. Hunter Hawley, and myself design and choose the concept, but then we delegate that to the students to execute.
Oh, so it's like a team effort within everybody.
Absolutely, yes. Wow. And I mean, even during the production, I usually, Dr. Hunter Hawley will usually be doing the lights, and he'll be in the lighting booth, and I'll be pulling the curtain, and I'll be setting props backstage, and so it's a lot of effort and focus from every single person involved.
Yes. Wow. And how long has the opera company been in existence at UTB?
It's been, I believe, about 20 years, and it started really as a tiny operation. I think there were about 8 students in the first year or so, and then we've had this is my 3rd year at UTB, and since I've started, we've had, I think, 45 students in opera. This semester it's 33, and it's been a centerpiece certainly of this community, and just in the last year we've actually won some awards. We won a production competition with our last spring's opera, and then we won a scenes program. These are national competitions. We flew 3 students out to New York City, and they competed against a bunch of other schools, Texas State, University of North Carolina, Greensboro, University of Colorado, and we won 3rd place. So we were really excited. I know. We're growing.
That's awesome. And where will the performance take place, and what is the cost of admission?
Good question. It's going to be at the UTB Art Center, and admission is $5 general admission.
Okay, that's a really good price for all that they're getting.
Yes. I'm glad you agree.
Is there anything else you would like to add, Dr. Azel?
I just encourage everybody to come out. It's a totally different experience. One of the things that I love about directing this opera company is that the students work so hard and are so energized that I have not had an audience member not enjoy a production. I've done 2 now, and for the most part, I almost, after every single show, have people come up to me and say, I thought opera was going to be boring, and I thought I was going to be sleeping, and I loved it. I've also seen people start with their phones, so I sit in the audience sometimes when I can, and I'll see them start checking their phones, and then they'll start laughing, and then you'll see the phones go away, and then you see very engaged and entertained people. So, and we've also had a few people say that they we're not doing a fully anime themed Mikado, but we're doing an animation influenced Mikado. So last year we did a steampunk production, and people came in costume, which was awesome. So if you feel so inspired to come in your anime costumes, please do.
Wow, I'll definitely spread the word for this event.
Great.
And Dr. Azel, thank you for being here today. To our audience, thank you for joining us. I'm Brandy Beltran with UTB Radio.